What is up, everybody? Welcome to another whatever I'm calling this. So, this is our Zelda discussion, part three, part tres. I think that's right. Tres, tres in Spanish for three.
Trace.
Trace.
Yeah, got it. See, I knew I learned something in Spanish in high school. So, I got with me the usual suspects and Mr. Shadow Fox. How you doing, man?
What's going on? How you doing? One step in the game.
All right, and Andre.
What's up, everybody? New camera. So if I look the wrong way, because I do have both my cameras plugged in, so sometimes I might look at the one. I'm gonna just take this down so I don't keep making that mistake. That way we
I got
eliminate.
the same problem, but both of
I'm
mine
just
are
look
old.
at
So
this one right here that I know is set up because this is the new camera with the better focus and the better lens and all that. I still blurred the background on purpose.
Cool.
my
So,
wife let me buy a GoPro.
if you have been following our Zelda Chronicle series, we are still talking about spin-offs for the possible from that you can make from any Zelda game. Period. Now we're still in Ocarina of Time, but this one we're going to be talking about the Bottom of the Well and the Shadow Temple. So we're going to be making a horror game for this one because this was the kind of jacked up portion of the Zelda series where I don't understand how they got away with an E for everyone. Like I don't understand how they got away
I
with
mean,
it on
to
this point.
be honest, you were looking at a creature with blood basically all over its body, and it can touch you from anywhere in the room.
And bite you because his teeth was like his head was like this. It had teeth. Yeah, dead head. What is it, dead hand or whatever they called
It
him?
did something.
Yeah. So that's the child side. That was the child side.
Yep.
So I'm like, okay, going back and think about it now, because when I play it on the 3DS, going back and think about it now, I'm like, how the hell did y'all get away with the E? How the
Yeah.
hell?
I mean, like you watch people die. Literally, you can walk up on the soldier dying after the assault by Ganon,
Yeah.
and then you just watch him die. He like literally he just dies there because I guess because you don't see blood splattering everywhere and you ain't seeing dismembered body
Yeah.
parts.
I mean, that was in Link to the Past too. You
Yeah.
there were bodies littered in Hyrule Castle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, you watch somebody die. You watch Link's uncle just die.
Yep.
Just straight up. I might turn blue and everything. Like, okay,
Just
choked him out.
dead.
All right, Darth Vader. Darth Ganem. What the hell, dude? So,
I mean,
like
he's got
George
the
Lucas,
magic
he's Sue.
sword.
George
Look, he's
Lucas.
got the he's got the
So
magical power for it. So I mean, it makes sense.
that's true. So, despite our very brief introduction to the bottom of the well portion of the game, so my question is this: if you're going to do a spinoff on this, I would say over the shoulder, Resident Evil 4 style.
Possibly.
That
Right?
depends. That depends. That depends on how you're going about it. If you're doing someone other than Link going in there,
Mm-hmm.
I'd go with that. Because if you wanted to say like just take like a random character from like the Sheikah or even the Gerudo and throw them in there, yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense. Because you don't know what you expecting to walk into that place.
Yeah, and which and that's a good point because of the simple fact that like you can say because when you go down in the bottom of the well, you find out there's a whole like prison system down there.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
So the thing is, you can have it where it's either a Gerudo breaking in, trying to secure the lens of truth, because remember that was down there,
Hmm.
or you can say it was a Shikai down there.
It could probably work with either character model because if you think about it, they could be close range actually makes it scarier. And if
Hmm.
you're long
Yeah.
range, you could still do it over the shoulder, kind of similar to what Dead Space did. So
Yeah.
you're zoomed out third person, and if it comes down to it, you need to engage in actual combat. You can get closer over the shoulder, kind of
Yeah.
similar. Their camera is a little bit different than Gears of War, and the way that they kind of pull the camera out further to show you stuff further in the background. It looks kind of creepy. That kind of thing could happen to where it would kind of be a little bit more effective that
Yeah,
way.
I would definitely agree with that, especially when you need the camera for those angles when you can't see what it is. You can just catch the silhouette and the shadows walking.
Yep.
Yeah, and so. Do you bring the disembodied hand in?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, on purpose. There's few times you'll just see it fly by the screen. You don't know what it is. Then a couple times you'll get a glimpse of it, and you can kind of make out what it is, but then it disappears into the shadows. Then the last time you see it before it actually attacks you, it falls on your face. Do
face hugger.
like that.
Face hugger. Gotcha. Face hugger.
So Zelda's been that way for a long time because Master Hand was in the very first game. So were the lights. And those they made those extremely creepy in the 3D versions of the game. So I could and when the light grabs you, the camera zooms in and kind of shows it squeezing Link kind of situation, and it freaks you out. And chewing. So that kind of works. So I see how that could work for any other character trying to inhibit that dungeon or whatever kind of trial you want to make out of that.
And you could still probably break this up into two separate games. Once again, have the bottom of the well part be the what was the child version in Ocarina of Time. Have that the bottom of the well be one part of the game, and you can have the actual Shadow Temple itself that's in the graveyard. I don't know what's with people in graveyards. Second part of the game, but
you got to walk through one to get to the Master Sword or the White Sword. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So you
gotta, but like the way you can kind of twist. And another question: would you set this up during Ocarina of Time and just say like Link hasn't got there yet, or he's it's like 5 years after Ocarina of Time?
It shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter.
To be honest, though, I would probably put it just before the Ocarina of Time.
Just
for continuity's sake, I'd put it just before it. Like, just say, like, that way you could also explain some of those random bodies you found down there.
Yeah.
Like, okay, a couple people will attempt this and they didn't get very far.
It could be during. It'll be pretty cool for you to be, like, going through there and you're doing this kind of, like, survival horror kind of, like, take on going through this labyrinth. And then all of a sudden in the background, you just see somebody spin by with a sword going, or whatever.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, well, I have no idea what that guy's doing. But apparently there's a game that he does his own thing. And you were unbeknownst that the whole time there was somebody else down there with you on a whole nother different mission. So that kind of that could work.
That could work. But they would have to I guess they'd have to expand the area of the well a little bit because you would definitely have to be set off on a different course than him. You wouldn't want to be where y'all going to run into each other.
Because literally program his path the exact way it would be in the original game too. So all the things you had to do in the original game is what he would his as an NPC what he would be doing progressing through. So invoke a little bit of nostalgia there. So you're creeped out, but at the same time you're like, hey, cool.
And that would work out. And that would work out because if you're using a Gerudo or a Sheikah, those characters are good at stealth and hiding. So
that's what you would do. You make it as it's a Gerudo and have it like where Ganon had pretty much gave the mission. Okay, I need you to get the Lens of Truth. It's at the bottom of that damn well. I'm 6'8", 280 pounds. You are 5'1", 105 soaking wet. You're going. I can't fit in there. You going. And of course, I'm Super Saiyan 3 Ganon, so I can't go down there. So
can't get caught on everything.
Yeah. So I mean, but honestly, it would probably be better if you like did it like that. That way, like you said, you can have somebody going down there and they hear a little kid like, "What the hell's a kid doing down here?"
Mm-hmm.
Not knowing what the world's going on. Actually, have that person either die or be like 7 years later when you do the other part of the other part and have where Link goes to Shadow Temple and Link actually helps them break out and they are going on the other because the Shadow Temple is friggin' huge.
Yeah, that's a big dungeon.
So you can actually have it where somebody else was in there, and that's how Link was able to get around, like actually able to get to the ship, actually able to get to certain things was because there was somebody else that got broke out trying to get out because now they pissed off that they got left for dead.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. And then you gotta think about all them creepy Redads crawling around there. Yeah. Oh man,
all the zombies.
I got a rank right real quick. So now that you mention it, the Shadow Temple, the N64 on paper, like at the end of the day, realistically speaking, 100,000 polygons per second max. Usually, like with all the effects applied and everything else, that's a big ass dungeon. And there was really no polygon pop in, and there was no LODs. All that stuff was already there around. Like, we're talking kilobytes around. That's just ridiculous. There was no expansion pack for this game.
No. So, you have to use the little red expansion thing for the 64 for that. You didn't need it.
And I think that game was still a 16 megabit card. I don't think it was a 64 megabit card. So
Yeah, I
it's
don't think
it's
it
just
That
was.
one
crazy.
released, if I'm not mistaken, in the US, Ocarina of Time released with the 64, right? It was that one in Mario 64, right?
Well,
No,
original Ocarina of
Or right
Time.
around the time it released.
It was Ocarina of Time was 97.
yeah,
97.
Ocarina
So
of
that
Time
would have
was
been the
like
year
the
after.
following.
Okay, that
Yeah.
was the year after. Okay, yeah.
So yeah,
So
those carts weren't available. They
yeah.
weren't available yet.
So
Yeah.
it was around. It was in the release window. Then
Yep.
still, it was in the first year
Well,
release window. Then.
technically, yeah. Compared to the way consoles do today, yes, it was within the release
Yeah,
window.
I mean, well, hold on. People before anybody that just started gaming like in the 7th gen, back before then, you didn't get games that often.
Yep.
You really did.
Your console launch with like one game, and then like 3 months later, you get like
Got
seven
another one.
games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there wasn't like people complain now about droughts. That's why we three be laughing at y'all.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Like you don't know what a drought is unless you go like 8 months without a game.
Yeah, without a game
Yeah.
period,
Without
a
a
game
single game.
being advertised, marketed, anything. Like
It was-
you didn't hear nothing. Wasn't no
like-
internet. You had to wait on the magazine.
Being a multi-console gamer back then was truly a blessing for that reason.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was.
So
And I'm gonna
Like,
tell you right now,
and
most
we ain't
parents,
talking about
most parents, nah, you ain't no multiplayer, you ain't no multi game. Nah, you getting a Nintendo. I don't want to hear nothing else. What them grades looking like? You better
Yeah,
talk,
I,
better
I
talk
was
to your
I
uncle.
was definitely one of the lucky kids
Yeah.
back then that I kept my grades up, so I actually did end up with multiple consoles.
Yeah, that was the only way you gonna get it.
my mom bought the console for me. She said, "I'm buying the console, but I'm never buying you a game again." I was like, "Whoa!" So
Yeah.
I spent $70 that day on launch day to pre-order Killer Instinct Gold. And I had Mario 64, and yeah, she hasn't bought me a game since. I'm middle aged now.
People.
It's not happening.
Yeah, so that's why if you're young and you see people laughing at you when you complain about a drought, that's why. So
like we mean an actual drought when nothing is released, not something you don't like.
yeah,
nothing
we talking
at
about
all.
nothing, like nothing, and you're not gonna hear advertisement about it.
I
Nothing.
think Mortal Kombat Trilogy and Doom 64 came out in October. And then after that, there was nothing until December.
Yep,
Nothing came out in November.
It wasn't no. Oh, we getting Call of Duty this month. We getting that? Nah, that didn't happen. That just didn't happen.
And
there was no annuals.
Annuals were nowhere near that big back then.
So yeah.
But Shadow Temple.
Yeah. That being said, sorry we had to go off on that little tangent because that was important.
Yes, it was. It was important to this historical teaching.
Yeah. Sometimes if you're not taught, you never know. So that being said, looking back at this portion, and we're only talking about these two aspects of the game because in Ocarina of Time, this is probably the best way to get a horror game out of it. You're probably not going to be able to get a horror game out of a lot of other stuff because each temple was kind of different. The only other one
you could almost get one out of the not the Spirit Temple, the
Fire Temple.
No, not the Fire Temple. I'm thinking of the one in the
The Fire Temple is just a slasher fluid.
I was going to say I'm thinking of the one in the Kokiri Forest.
Spirit Temple.
The Forest.
It is the Spirit.
Forest Temple. I'm sorry.
Spirit is in the desert.
Yeah, that's in the desert. I don't really see that as a survival horror. Let's see that.
Forest Temple got a couple of scares, and Dark Link in the Water Temple came out of nowhere. That's
about the only. Well, the Water Temple would be more of like a thriller until you get to that point because you really fighting to survive underwater for a long period of time.
You just walk out there and you see this tree, and I'm like, hey, what's happening right now? I don't even.
But you don't see nothing. Like, bad thing is you see the door behind you, the door in front of you, the tree, nothing else.
Yeah, that was amazing because you have not seen this enemy since Zelda 2.
Yeah,
and they're just like, he's canon now. Here you go.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Should we bring Dark Link into this in
I
the
would.
Yeah, you
because
could.
here's the thing about Dark Link. Dark Link is an awesome character to have simply based off the fact that he would be that villain for that other character
Yeah, he just
who
couldn't be playable because none of the enemies would attack him.
yeah, yeah. But you can have him as the villain for that other character that was kept in that Shadow Temple
Hmm.
after that whole well incident because of the
Yeah.
simple fact that Link has to fight Bongo Bongo, and I would get to Bongo Bongo people, but as I've found out during my research, there is no origin on Bongo Bongo that is canon. There is a lot of theories. There is no origin. So since there is no
Yeah.
origin, you can make it up yourself, and
Yeah.
that's what a lot of people have done.
From
You
what I
always have to come up
understand,
with
he was just an incarnation of the spirit that was testing him.
Yeah, that's
What I
pretty much
understand.
it. So
basically.
and for Ocarina of Time purposes, yes, he's a giant disembodied hands. He doesn't have a face. He looks like he got his neck cut off, his head cut off, and there's a flower there.
Yes,
So with giant hands, and he's hanging off the
an
ceiling.
eyeball.
Yeah, and he's hanging off the damn ceiling. So take that as you may.
I think they can make that look gross.
They could. They can make that look very gross, but for the
Guillermo del
purposes
Toro.
of it, for the whole purpose though, Link would be the one fighting that. But you could have a Dark Link or even a Shadow Link because they, oddly enough, they are separate characters.
I mean,
They're
you can
not
just
the
have
same
an area, just make it part of the background. Like you walk past a certain area, and then there's just a jump scare monster closet, and you see him, but like you're not gonna, it doesn't attack you. Like it just jumps out and goes boom or whatever, and then you just kind
No,
of
I
the
could
camera
see
cuts.
having to fight him. I could see having to fight him and having that be an extremely tough fight because I mean Link ain't no slouch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you're basically fighting. If you're
You
saying
fighting him
it's
to
Dark
survive.
Link, if you're saying he's going to be fighting, he or she will be fighting Dark Link, that's all of Link's hatred and anger anyway. So good luck. So
Yeah.
You're there
I mean-
fighting to survive. You're not fighting to beat him. You're just fighting to escape.
yeah. at
So
that-
then Dark Link should be like Nemesis then, and he's like kind of
Basically.
chasing you in
Yeah.
different periods throughout.
Yeah,
Throughout
once you get to like
throughout you
say
trying to
once
get
you
out,
get to Mhm.
throughout you trying to get out. Now,
Yeah.
do we keep some of those same enemies in there, like the Starforce Knight,
Yes.
like the like the
How do you make the Stalfo scary though?
I mean, at that
'Cause-
point, you'd have to make them like kind of well, because they're supposed to be nothing but skeleton, but you could probably like have like the meat hanging off their bones or something like
Okay.
that. Or
yeah, have like a fleshy eye hanging loose.
yeah. I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but yeah,
sharpen, have their teeth sharpen the fangs or something like that.
yeah.
With like blood on them.
And have it where like once you knock the sword out of hand, they go to start biting. They try anything to kill you.
Okay.
They ain't trying to turn you into nothing. They trying to kill you.
And again, like since they're bones, you don't just kill them by beating on them. You actually
gotta
have
kill
to
the
break
head.
them. You literally have to destroy the skull. So if the head is still intact, and you knock the legs out, it's still crawling after you.
Yeah. Good old Breath of the Wild action.
Basically, you know what you had to do in Breath of the Wild at night
Yep.
when
Yeah, that.
when the head was still falling? Just that.
Mm-hmm.
Just have that, and just have the heads like trying to get you, and you just have to either take a bat, my personal favorite, baseball bat, or you know,
But then you could
or
cheat,
hammer.
you could cheat, knock him down, steal his arm, and then run away until the game ran out of RAM, and then they wouldn't repopulate again, and you got a free arm. You can,
and we've already came up with one glitch. Bethesda, they're happy. So, but yeah, I actually like the idea of like doing that. The only thing is like I said, it's kind of one of those situations. Do you go over the shoulder? Do you go third person? Do you go? I hate the idea of first person horror because I don't think that works.
yeah.
In this situation, it wouldn't unless you wanted to do like
Like a
particular scenes.
Yeah.
Like say you're introduced to an area you haven't been in, and it's a narrow hallway, and that's solely for that particular hallway where it's that first person perspective to kind of make you tense. But overall, no.
No.
Yeah, you can do the camera swoops and stuff like that. Like, so if you get to a certain area or whatever, like wherever Bongo is supposed to be or whatever, like kind of zoom out and kind of pan the camera around and have like part of him like in the foreground, but you can't really see what it is. And then as the camera comes around, you know, then you're aware whenever the camera jumps immediately to him.
Yeah.
Or just have him in the background kind of sitting there. You're unaware and he's like moving slowly or whatever.
Like kind of say I'd say it's like combining the Resident Evil 4 camera with like the old different varying camera angles from the Resident Evil series.
Mm-hmm.
Where like just say certain rooms you come into that room and you'll see from the predator's point of view looking at you while you're moving around.
Yes.
Until you find out what the predator is, and then at any other point when you go back through that area, you'll have your normal camera view.
I'm trying to think about sound too and how you draw this because the whole thing I'm thinking of is how do you make this in an official Zelda game? Like so,
Well,
the
the shadow.
original game. I would say the original game when you got close to a boss or whatever, you would hear like the cry of the enemy or whatever.
Yeah.
Where you could kind of do that, like I guess the way you can do 3D spatial audio now, it will actually gradually get louder and louder the closer you get to wherever you need to be. And it could be like little screams or whatever of, lost souls or whatever crying as well. And the closer you get there, you hear the grunts of whatever the demon's going to be or a giant heartbeat or whatever you want it to be.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of different sound effects to make it
Like there's that stuff that they could do, and then they could honestly, you could rip some of the sound effects from the music in the games.
Yeah,
like because there are certain
resample
sound effects that are in those songs that are meant to make the atmosphere more creepy. But like you take away the background music to it and just throw those sound effects in randomly, especially like from the Forest Temple where you get it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
When you hear that type of stuff, you're like, "The hell is that?" It's like, is there a snake running around here or something?
Yeah, because now that you mentioned it, the Shadow Temple did have a lot of weird sounds in it.
Yeah, it did. Like a lot of like the composers did that on purpose because they wanted the music to match aesthetically with the backgrounds. So when you hear the little or type stuff in the music.
Now that you mention it and you talked about the Forest Temple, a Skulltula nest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's a Skulltula nest. There's a Skulltula nest actually in the Shadow Temple.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In the room where you have the two, where you have to escape because you got two things coming at you. You either got to hit them with fire or kill. It's kind of jacked up, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they have enough stuff in there to where you could get like a good 10-hour game out of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the first time I ran into one. They didn't look scary in the dead tree. But the first time you run into him in the Forest Temple, it's not facing you, and then it turns around, and then you see that skull. That kind of freaked me out the first time I saw it.
Yeah.
Well, that's because the atmosphere is wholly different.
Yeah,
like wholly different. Like you think you just gonna sneak up on it? It's like, oh nah, bro, I got you.
Yep. Yeah. And you hit me, I bounce back and flip on you.
Now I'm gonna say something because I think like this art team is the team to do this for. And have y'all? I know we are all fans of Smash Brothers, and Sakurai's team, his art team, what they did with that classic path for Link, where they redid the Ganon Link fight for his classic path for Smash Bros. Ultimate. I kind of want to see that art style like done for this because I'm sitting there looking like I'm with Maximilian Dude on this. He makes the characters in his game look better than their original
the
game they came from.
He does.
That's not fair.
It's cutscenes from the Wii game that's just like, bruh, like
yeah. That's all. Like, okay,
good.
So it's clear that he knows what he's doing. So why don't we just get like people on his team to like do the environment stuff like that? Because I think they'll make it pop and they'll be able to make it look like it needs to look. Now, of course, this being Zelda, we probably gonna have to tone some of the blood stuff down just so we can get that T for teen because they ain't gonna go with that M rated for Zelda. Even though, let's be honest, story wise,
it should be.
Yeah, of course, it should be.
It definitely should be.
So, do you make this since it's a spinoff? Do you go full voice acting?
I mean, might as well since we wouldn't be making Link the main. Since we wouldn't be making Link the main character anyway, and he'd just be somebody who you just happen to be helping him out.
And it's not like he talks; he just goes,
"Yeah." All you gonna hear is him screaming.
The thing is, like, you don't have for him to be in it. You just see him doing something while you're doing something else. So you're not going. Yeah, you wouldn't interact with him. So you wouldn't really interact with him. He's doing something else, or you can have him where he's actually talking to Navi. Since Navi won't shut up. Talking to Navi.
Hey, listen.
Or you can have Navi constantly badgering him while y'all walking through. You're like, damn, she's talking his ear off, man. Like, just keep talking, keep their attention on you and not me.
I guess that's the part they decided to keep canon from the Legend of Zelda cartoon. They're just like, Sprite is just gonna be annoying. We're gonna put her on there.
Pretty much, yeah. Although I had to say, later Zelda games, I'm actually starting to miss the sidekick character, but that's just me. But yeah, I would actually do that. I would actually like have it kind of like a Skyward Sword kind of deal in reverse. Like in Skyward Sword, you saw Zelda and Impa running in the background, but you ain't see what they were doing. But have this in reverse where you see in Link, and you're like, okay, I got to get the hell out of here. And everything
while he's drawing the attention of everything, you gotta roll out real quick.
Yeah, and to make it the survival horror is the part where you're like, okay, I don't have that many weapons. I just luckily got out of my cell because of him.
Yep.
And I'm trying to find my way out, and everything I do is actually helping him.
Yeah, make the puzzle solving, like little things that you do open up a path for him because he's doing one thing to open up some trails, and what he does opens up areas for you, and you're opening up other ways for him. Yeah.
But at the same time, you hate him because he has an infinite bag of holding with all kind of gear in there. You're like, can I get one of those? And they're like, no, the game has to be hard.
And you have
I can't touch none of this. And your weapons break because they're not magically imbued. So yeah.
It's like, you want me to replicate some magic bottles? I can do 50. You like?
that cheap trick from the game of replicating them bottles.
Yep.
Yeah, boy.
Get rid of items nobody really ever used.
Yep.
Glitches. So
Ocarina of Time glitches.
Yeah, so I actually wouldn't mind them doing something like this because, like I said, this would be the equivalent of what Ubisoft did with like Child of Light, where it was essentially an indie game, but it was just made by Ubisoft. So that's what I would get from this. But I would try to like lean in on the horror aspect of it, just because of the simple fact that like it works, especially for this section of that game.
Yeah,
it just works better. That's one of the reasons why I like Ocarina of Time. Like Ocarina of Time, even though Breath of the Wild finally was the game that overtook as my favorite Zelda game, Ocarina of Time is still up there because of the simple fact that all the stuff they put in it that you can make another game off of.
There's so much stuff that lore allows for you to do.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so they really have I wouldn't say they have an infinite number of stories to tell, but they damn near close if they wanted to.
I'm trying to think if there's anything from any of Ganon's dungeons that will work. Because everything kind of like when it's time to go fight Ganon, like you're not afraid anymore. It's like
at that point you got
been through hell by that.
Yeah, you're ready to go. You start hearing that music. You start hearing that piano music. You're like, yes, let's go. Let's go to this organ playing, motherfucker.
Okay, like I hear you playing that organ. I'm going to stop through all your minions real quick and get there.
Yep.
I'm gonna beat your ass.
Yeah, and you get up there and you're like, oh no, it's Demise. Oh, okay, I'll kill you then.
So it's one of those situations like by the time you do get to the end of the game, you're right. Like you like, okay, I done been through the water temple. You scared the hell out of me in the shadow temple.
Yep.
You try to have a ghost kill me in the forest temple. You try to bury me in sand. I'm coming for you.
Yep.
Like, man, you done lit me on fire. You done
I found out my girlfriend will follow me half the game. Like,
aren't
just
you here to save Zelda? Man, the hell was Zelda? I'm coming for you.
Yep.
Nah, you getting her had no impact on me coming to kill you.
And she's over here like, yep, pretending to be rescued is really good.
Yeah. I was just trying to give him extra bonus, but apparently he don't need it.
Yep.
Yeah, so there's that. But leave a comment. We're at the 30-minute mark for this, so leave a comment in the description. Let us know what you think. Would you play a horror Zelda game? And how would you do it? Would you have the over-the-shoulder camera, or would you have tank control? Please don't say tank controls. But Link don't have no gun. Or you could have like whoever the other
Well,
characters have a crossbow,
I mean,
but whatever.
the tank controls aren't a problem if it's the over the shoulder camera.
You
It's
can
just
make it. You can make
It
it first
depends on
person.
how it's implemented. It depends on how it's implemented.
yeah.
You can make it first person with a bow and arrow or with the BFG, and then the camera pulls out and you see it's Isabel playing the whole time. That's the meme. That's the 320 meme. Y'all seen those memes, right?
Yeah,
Isabel,
yeah.
that'd be the way to go. But
Isabel
Isabel about that life anyway, so
Yeah, the Animal Crossing boy. You don't mess with the villager and Annabelle and Tom Nook.
she tired of paying bills for that man. She
Yeah.
ready to go outside and do something.
Nook is literally the mafia king there. Then the villager is a homicidal maniac, and Isabel, nah, you just don't want to step across them lines.
Yeah, you don't want that smoke. So
Look, she's nice and sweet as long as you do what she say.
yeah.
Do what she say. Please do what she say.
But yeah, let us know in the comments what you guys think. Would you play it? What would you implement? Would you even do it RE2 remake style? Just let us know. Thanks for watching. We will be doing another. I think we got like 2 more parts to this. I think we have 2 more parts to this because we got to go. Because we still got to do Wind Waker because we didn't do that one, and we still have to do Skyward Sword because we didn't do that one.
Yeah.
So
one of the best dungeon games in a while, but
yeah.
I already talked about that on another podcast. So.
Yeah, so we still got to go through those because there's a couple of differing paths we can go on that one. So let us know what you guys think, and we'll see you guys on the next vid. Peace.
Later.
Peace out, everybody.